Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to this event. Thank you for joining us for the launch of the Creative Communities Learning Lab today. We are very pleased you could join us today for the launch of our new program, a new series of free online learning modules by creatives for creatives worldwide. This program has been developed in collaboration with Creative Friction in the UK and Makerspace Manila in the Philippines as producers, but also with 17 Creative Hub leaders from Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, and the UK, who have provided their valuable input throughout the process, and also with some fantastic experts from the UK and Southeast Asia. Before we go into depth with the content and the authors, I should probably introduce myself. My name is Roxana Apostol. I am a Creative Economy Program Manager for the British Council. I am part of a team in the UK who works on global programs that focus on creative hubs, creative enterprises, and creative economy policy. I work on our Creative Hubs programs globally, and I have been closely involved in our regional Hubs for Good program in Southeast Asia. I'm very glad to be your co-host for today, together with my colleague, Malaya del Rosario. Lai?
Hi, Roxana. Hi, everyone. My name is Malaya del Rosario. It's very nice to be here today. We're very excited for this event. I'm head of arts and creative industries for British Council in the Philippines. And recently, I've also been leading on our Creative Hubs for Good program in Southeast Asia. And I'm based in the Philippines now in Taguig. You can see our office, our fake office background at the back. I miss the office. I've been leading on this project from our end and working alongside Roxana and of course our amazing team at the British Council all over the world and Creative Friction and Makerspace Manila and our hub leaders from Southeast Asia and the UK. So welcome to the event today.
Sorry, some microphone trouble there. Thanks, Lai. Before we begin, we want to do a quick live audit to see where everyone's joining us from today. So there should be a poll in your chat box running right now. Please share with us your country, where you're joining us from, and let's see. Yeah, let's see the spread of the participants. I can see there are more than 150 of us online right now. Oh, hello, hi. How's the weather in Barcelona? Nice. Oh, amazing. So I can see a lot of people from the Philippines. That's brilliant. Wales, great. Wow, these are going so fast. I can barely read them. Amazing. Thanks, everyone. Welcome. Oh, Bosnia and Herzegovina, welcome. Thanks for joining. Wow. In Scotland, that's great. That's
Mauritius.
Really, yeah. Amazing. Thanks, everyone. We really hope this will be an interesting session for you all. This Creative Communities Learning Lab, it was designed to offer a space for sharing knowledge, for sharing stories, creative adaptations directly from creative hubs and their communities. So we will talk more about the process of creating it, as well as the objectives of the courses a little bit later on. But before we dive into anything, let's go through some house rules briefly, please. So first of all, please make sure your mic remains muted and your camera is off during the program. You can turn your camera on if you'd like to during the Q&A session. Feel free to type your questions in the chat box. You can submit questions at any time, but please identify if your question is for a specific speaker. You can use the raise your hand function if you would like to raise questions with your mic instead of just typing them in the chat box. We'll prioritize people raising their hands during the Q&A session. This session will be video recorded as well. So by attending the session, you acknowledge that your image and comments may be recorded and rebroadcast. The Zoom meeting room will be locked 30 minutes after the start of this event. So if you're disconnected during the event and the room is locked, please email us at arts@britishcouncil.org.ph so that we may allow you to rejoin. So you have the email address on the screen right now. Last but not least, let's be respectful of each other during the discussion. A few words about comms coverage as well. Make sure you follow us and this event on social media channels and maybe also share it forward. All our social media handles should be flashing on the screen right now, including the hashtags we are using for this program, which are Creative Hubs for Good and Culture Connects Us. I'll now hand over to my colleague Lai for the next part of the event.
Thank you, Roxana. Yeah, I see that there are still people entering. So yeah, please welcome. Hurry up and get inside the room. Okay, so to officially start our program, I would like to welcome Caroline Meeby, who is our Director of Network Arts at the British Council based in London. So Caroline provides leadership and support for the British Council's arts portfolio overseas. She has led global programs on creative entrepreneurship and more recently on digital artistic collaborations, very exciting projects. So everyone, let's all welcome Caroline. Hi, Caroline, good morning to you. The floor is
Hello, yes, I'm speaking to you here from London where it is the morning, but good afternoon and good evening to everyone. It's so exciting to be part of this call, and I have to admit I didn't realize there would be so many people from not just the East Asia region but beyond that. So very, very warm welcome to you all wherever in the world you're joining us from. Thank you very much to my colleagues for the kind introduction. My name is Caroline Meeby. I'm Director of the Arts Network based here in London for the British Council, and a very warm welcome to everyone for the launch event of this very exciting Creative Communities Learning Lab. And we're doing this, of course, in 2021, which is the UN's year of sustainable growth for the creative economy. So what we're doing here and everything that we're going to be sharing in this session is really sort of underpins the importance of creative communities, creative hubs to the wider creative economy agenda. So it's an absolute privilege to be here with you today. I'll just start off with a little bit about the British Council, in case some of you might not know too much about us. So we are the UK's cultural relations organisation, and we build connections, understanding and trust between people in the UK and people in other countries through arts and culture, education and the English language. And we're active in more than 100 countries around the world. And I always think that the British Council itself works a little bit like a hub of connections, knowledge sharing and ideas. But since 2014, the British Council has worked with over 1,000 creative hubs globally. And our definition of a creative hub is a physical, or as is more the case now, a virtual place that brings enterprising people together who work in the creative and cultural industries. We are, as we can just see by this event, we are living in an increasingly networked world. And I think it's fair to say creative leadership, modern creative leadership, 21st century creative leadership doesn't fit with the old-fashioned corporate structures, which are very top-down and very sector-specific. In this increasingly networked digital world that we're in, all sectors actively learn and share from each other. And so the model of creative hubs themselves is dynamic, future-focused and more inclusive. It's just more in the spirit of how we work now and how we want to work in the future. So between 2018 and 2021, we've been running our Creative Hubs for Good program in Southeast Asia, and we are absolutely delighted to have been working with hubs in over 29 cities across the region, and reaching through them more than 10,000 beneficiaries. And we've been supporting Creative Hubs as key drivers and catalysts for good in these cities in Southeast Asia. 3 ways that we've been doing this: through capacity building and skills training, by creating new networks, and through advocacy and policy dialogue engagement. Now, of course, in the time the pandemic, pre-COVID, much of our work with hubs was enabling face-to-face connections. But of course, as the world has shifted, and hubs, as the rest of the sectors across the world have been hit hard by the pandemic, that has been restricted. The ability to work face-to-face has been restricted, as there's been more restrictions on live gatherings and the closing of physical shared spaces, and a push towards remote working, as well as obviously the challenges that many in the sector have had by losing access to work. So our model for our Creative Hubs work has had to pivot to those new realities. And our teams, our colleagues, and all their partners have been working really, really hard on that, and thinking about new ways that we can pivot quite quickly to face the new realities that we all find ourselves in. So last year, we launched a series of global events called Communities of a New Future. These were 3 forums that explored how hubs from different parts of the world have tackled challenges brought on by the pandemic. And across those 3 forums, we had over 300 people joining us from 17 countries around the world. And they shared really inspiring stories of resilience, challenges, and creative adaptation. And what we've now done is we've taken those stories of resilience, challenge, and creative adaptation, and we've built all of those into a program of online learning modules. And as my colleagues have already said, this is a real mutual learning experience. These modules have been built with the input of Creative Hub leaders and the direct experience of their creative communities. So they're modules designed for creative professionals by creative professionals around the world. And the results of that process is what we're absolutely delighted to be launching today. So the Creative Communities Learning Lab is a new series of free, dynamic, and accessible online learning modules for creative and cultural professionals around the world. And they cover 3 topics, which I think are really, really key to the sector right now. First one is digital community strategy and management. The second one is new ways to monetize creative services. And the third one, very, very apt, is transforming training for online delivery. These learning modules have been produced by a fantastic collaboration between Creative Friction in the UK and Makerspace Manila in the Philippines, with input from 17 amazing Creative Hub leaders as advisors. And numerous other people have been feeding into this. So thank you to everyone who's been involved. It's been an absolute pleasure to have been working with you. So I'm going to hand back over to my colleagues now, my colleague Lai and the rest of the wonderful team behind the program, to introduce you to the content and how to navigate it. Enjoy this session, enjoy the tools, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Caroline. We're so happy you could join us today for this launch. I love the idea of British Council also functioning as a hub. I think that's so true. We will see you, during the event.
Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. So next, I'll introduce Tuukka Toivonen. So Tuukka has been leading on the production team from the Creative Friction and Makerspace Manila side end of the project. And he is the founder and managing director of Creative Friction. And he's also the program director for the master's program in innovation management at Central St. Martin's, University of the Arts, London. Hi, Tuukka.
Hello, Lai. Hi, thanks very much for the kind introduction. And big thanks to Caroline and Roxana for the really upbeat introductory remarks that I think did an excellent job really putting this whole initiative in context. And I will say a few words as well about kind of our approach to designing and co-designing, co-producing this set of courses, which I think is a very exciting set of content that I think didn't really exist before. So I'll say a few things about that in a moment. I'll just introduce myself first once again. So my name is Tuukka. I'm the director of Creative Friction. I also work at Central St. Martin's as the director of the MA Innovation Management there. And just from a personal perspective, I have for a long time now been really passionate about collaborative communities. And I come to this topic as a strategist, as a researcher, as an educator. And my personal interests are both theoretical and practical. I think that comes through in course one, especially. So for me, really the challenge, at least in normal times, has been to sort of take a group of members and people who are creative at the individual level, and then to try to translate that or transform that group into a genuinely creative collective. To me, that's the fundamental challenge of community strategy. And that's why I'm really interested in this kind of work theoretically and also practically. How do creative communities thrive? How do they make maximal value out of their members? How do they contribute to their local communities? All these questions are really interesting to me. Yes, so I've been really pleased to be invited to work with the British Council to support their long-standing mission of supporting creative hubs around the world through this new content. And I would like to emphasize that the courses that you will be introduced to today, they're really the result of an extensive global collaboration across cultures, time zones, and tech platforms. And this collaboration has happened not just between the British Council, Creative Friction, and our partner, Makerspace Manila, but also between 17 Southeast Asian creative hub leaders who've been part of our advisory committee. And then also we've collaborated with a range of subject matter experts. So to me, it's remarkable that all this has come together in such a short time. And therefore, I'm very thankful for all the hard work of all of our teams, including Miguel's team at Makerspace Manila, including our own team, led by Justine on the project management side, and Sakina and Lucy. And of course, I'm very grateful for the continuing support from the British Council and the feedback that we've received. And I should also make sure to thank all of those who've been generous enough to share their personal stories of transition and transformation. And I think those stories really bring our courses alive, and they really help to bring a sort of sense of humanity to content that partly is, of course, a little bit abstract, but we really ground this work in these stories. So just a few words about how the courses came together. Well, first of all of these three courses kind of follow the same basic structure. So they begin with an introduction and sort of heroes' journeys. So essentially, we are asking, hub leaders, real-world hub leaders, to share their stories and kind of share how they've overcome some of the great challenges that the past year has kind of forced us to confront. So we start with these sorts of heroes' journeys to really kind of showcase what the courses are about and to raise interest. And then we go from there to sort of the second section in each course, which is really where the core content and the learning modules are delivered. And you will hear more about those in the breakout rooms later on today. And then in the third part, we invite you to apply the key learnings and to reflect on them further. In some of the courses, we ask you to share your insights or the new things that you've learned on social media, for instance. So that's the basic structure. But what I would also like to stress is that we took a very human-centered design style approach to constructing these courses, to formulating these courses. We began with a brief, of course, from the British Council. So there was a basic set of directions that we began with, but we then took those directions and the key assumptions to our 17 Southeast Asian hub leaders to kind of test whether they really held water, whether they really aligned with real world needs and preferences. And we asked these hub leaders to help us select the core course themes. So all of the themes that you will hear about today, they've been tested with a real world audience already. Finally, we also received plenty of user feedback on the near final versions of these courses. So it is through this iterative design process that these courses have taken shape, and it's through that process that they've been improved, and hopefully most of the technological and writing glitches which inevitably find their way into some of the material have been fixed. Obviously we take full responsibility, and we will fix anything that needs to be fixed over the next few days. But we're very pleased overall with the results, and we hope that you will enjoy what you see, and we are really keen to receive more feedback from you. We are keen to hear how the findings relate to your realities, and we're very aware of the fact that everybody inhabits a unique context. So we do want you to take the courses in a reflective spirit and really try to adapt them to your own needs. But that's pretty much it from me for now. I will be doing a walkthrough of course one a bit later. So I hope to see many of you at that stage again. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Tuka. Thank you for sharing, the experience working, on this project. And I think we're going to have a lot more sharing for today. And as Tuka mentioned, we're also going to be having a walkthrough later on. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting lineup of activities. And to continue our sharing, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Gino Carino, who is the CEO of Makerspace Manila. Gino is a human-centered design advocate, maker, and entrepreneur. He co-founded Makerspace Manila along with Miguel Cervantes. And Makerspace Manila is an educational hub that encourages a maker mindset and design approach to teaching and business management. Gino is also one of the pioneering fellows of our Creative Innovators program at the British Council in the Philippines. And today he will talk about Makerspace Manila's observations, experiences, as well as the opportunities and challenges that they encountered in developing Creative Communities Learning Lab with us as a project. So he'll also be giving us some tips on effective and successful remote working and collaboration, because as you may have guessed, we actually deliver this project all remotely. So the learning curve has been very high for all of us. Hi, Gina. The floor is yours.
Hello, Lai. Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for being here. It has been a high learning curve, and I hope I could share a little bit about that process right here. So first, I'd like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody here. Just a quick introduction again. My name is Gino Carino. I'm the co-founder and chief executive officer of Makerspace Manila. We are a creative hub in the Philippines, which we founded about 6 years ago. Now, the Creative Communities Learning Lab is really the collaborative output of 7 nationalities in 9 countries across 27 organizations in 3 time zones by more than 70 individuals in a whirlwind 3 months of relentless work. Within those 3 months, we've had to work through, well, in the Philippines, 6 holidays, 2 COVID-19 cases, a pet emergency, camera breakdowns, 0 public transportation, countless drops in internet connection, 90 days of lockdown, and computer crashes that are really too many to count. On any normal day, remote working and online collaboration can be extremely difficult. With a pandemic, a lockdown, a very short timetable, and so many dependencies, the odds were really stacked. Well, the odds were really stacked against us. Yet here we are. The online courses are now in beta stage, accessible to Creative Hubs for free. And our only request is that actionable feedback could be shared so that these courses may be improved over time. I recall now 3 months ago how Tuca and Miguel set the parameters for us to succeed. And I could already see a good fit. Clear expectations were set for both the United Kingdom and the Philippine teams. At onset, we also knew remote collaboration would be very hard and it would delay our team the most, being the side that's tasked to put all of these training materials to proper form here in the Philippines. And to address this, we chose an online platform that everybody could hop to at their own pace, in their own free time, so long as their committed inputs were delivered on time. We utilized multiple digital tools as well. We use Slack, Miro, Zoom, MS Teams, G Suites, WhatsApp, etc., in collaborating with Creative Friction and British Council. We utilized even more software, 30 by my count, and many of them new to us, just so that we could deliver the content in record time. This project has given us the opportunity to discover and learn and even relearn all sorts of tools. Adobe, After Effects, Photoshop, Premiere, VideoStar, Unfold, iMovie, and countless others. Now, in hindsight, our makerspace has always been that comfortable around technology, tinkering our way and learning by experience. This digital agility allowed us to focus our energy to online learning early last year as we received more and more requests from clients and the rest of our community seeking help and advice on how to migrate their work online. Even with all the preparation in tech though, there were still many unexpected bumps on the road for this project and quite a number of delays. There was at some point a lot of running after folks for inputs, corrections, feedback, and we wouldn't have been able to clear these alone. Having Creative Friction and British Council teams right along the journey with us, providing support, guidance, and even an extra pair of hands as needed, made all the difference. Now, Creative Friction, the team of Tuca, Lucy, Sakina, and Justine, did a great job of unearthing the needs of 17 Creative Hub leaders through an online workshop and virtual whiteboard. Meanwhile, our makerspace, led by Miguel, Jean, Jack, Luis, and Natalia, made quick work of all of these data points, finding patterns in all the insights that were extracted until we were able to land on key design parameters for the online platform. And this was made only possible as both Creative Friction and Makerspace Manila are pupils and practitioners of what Tuca said, human-centered design. And because of this, there was barely any time lost in the processing and transfer of all of this rich information between both hubs, which was a very familiar and already natural endeavor for both UK and Philippine teams. But one very, very early insight from the needs gathering was that clearly we were not alone. Both Creative Friction and Makerspace Manila are creative hubs, and in our own communities, we are going through what all the other hubs here and elsewhere are going through in various degrees. We were in it among everybody else and with everybody else. And so empathy, which is at the root of human-centered design, was not attained. It was a given from the get-go. And in hindsight, I believe we were only able to get this much done in the reality we were in because we believe so passionately that so many like us need these courses here and now. And then there's trust. Well, gone are the old ways of working and collaborating, as Caroline did mention earlier, and where before teams could police and help each other by virtue of all being in the same room or building at the same time. Now, as we work from and with home, we are forced to rely and have faith on others a lot more. Now, it's really a matter of being able to trust your teams and partners that they have your back in as much as you have theirs. They will deliver as promised, and even if delayed, in the end, they will pull through for you just as much as you would for them. And we were blessed to have had a mutually trusting and reliable partnership with Creative Friction and British Council. And finally, I'd like to end with grit. And boy, did we use a lot of it. I'd like to share one of the biggest delays we had, which was the submission of content for editing, scrubbing, color grading, transcribing, stitching, and putting to MS Waveform, that platform that British Council requested we use for these online courses. What was supposed to have been a 2-month development lead time ended up becoming 3 weeks. And of those 3 weeks, our team lead and my co-founder, Miguel, contracted the coronavirus. Even with symptoms, not once did I see him drop the ball on development, nor did anybody else in the team for that matter. People were accessible, no matter the time nor day, even on grocery runs, border checks, and whatnot. With Miguel's COVID situation at home, I was all the more touched to see everybody's willingness to take on more roles as we anticipated his being benched by the virus. But let me park it here. I'm more eager to see these online courses to action. And I'd like to thank British Council, especially those that work tirelessly with us day in and out, you know who you are, and Creative Friction for this incredible opportunity to be part of something incredibly meaningful, something that could be great. I hope these 3 courses will only grow over time. Thank you.
Amazing insights, Gina. Thank you so much. Tech skills, empathy, trust, and grit, all very important qualities, I think, as we navigate, the changing conditions in our work. So yeah, we hope to hear from you again later on. I'll pass over now the virtual mic to Roxana for the next part of our event for more sharing.
Amazing. Thank you, Lai, and thanks everyone. We're going to have another quick session to look at some insights from some of the contributors to these courses. So our next 2 speakers will share their experience from developing the Creative Communities Learning module and some insights from their own organizations. If you've got any questions for them, make sure you put them in the chat, okay? We'll pick them up during the Q&A. So first, let me introduce Beth Watton, Artistic Director at Poplar Union, an arts community center in East London. Beth, I don't know if you're around, if you can hear us.
Yeah. Hi.
Amazing. So Beth completed both her BA and her MA in theater performance, and she hosts the Pop Talks podcast. And today Beth will talk to us about her organization, Poplar Union, how it has transitioned to an online-only arts community center, and also maybe she'll give us a little sneak peek into her contribution to the Digital Community Strategy and Management course. So Beth, you have the floor.
Thank you. Great. Hi, everyone. And thank you so much for having me at this wonderful launch event. I'm Beth Watton, as you have just said, and I'm the Artistic Director of Poplar Union, an arts and community centre based in Poplar, East London. We first opened in January 2017, and since then have been growing in size and ambition across our public programmes, our team, and crucially, our audiences. And that's both in terms of engagement and how embedded we are in our local community. We're a small team of 9 individuals, many of them work part-time, and at Poplar Union we provide a variety of interdisciplinary arts activities and events, and that includes theatre, live music, comedy, dance, film screenings. We also do a lot of workshops, a lot of family activities. We have really young audiences as well. Health and wellbeing programming and community classes, which might include things like English language classes, nutrition workshops, and more. And all of this takes place across our 2 beautiful studios, our cafe as well, and in the park where we're based. However, in March 2020, all that changed. And in place of our studios and our lovely park, We had Zoom, Instagram and Facebook Live, and a very active website. We closed our doors on the 16th of March 2020, and by the 23rd, we had launched an online programme of events and activities. And I think there might be a slide in a moment so you can see some of those. And that was to keep our audiences engaged, entertained, and importantly, to provide some sort of income to the many artists and facilitators who deliver these events. There we go. So you can see there some yoga classes and book clubs, things like that. This was a moment of such seismic change nationally, locally, and for our organisation. It was also a time of deep anxiety amongst our communities, and we knew that consistency in our offer and anything that could contribute some semblance of normality would be really crucial, as well as providing services and events that could keep people healthy and happy at a time when people's physical and mental health was so at risk. With that in mind, we prioritised our health programming, as you can see from the slide, moving popular elements of our public programme online. And that included things like yoga classes, cook-alongs, family art classes, and book clubs. Initially, the vast majority of what we offered would be free and accessed through social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook Live, or videos would be made available through our website, so people could use it as a resource for various free and engaging classes and activities. So even if you visit our website now, you'll still see a whole page of lots of different videos and things that you can do from home and keep you entertained. Over time, and as it became apparent we were going to be in lockdown for quite a long time, we started to really experiment and take the same creative risks and innovations we might have taken in real life. For example, the expansion of our online programme saw live streamed dance shows taking place across Zoom and from multiple locations, interactive game theatre shows where audiences could play along through apps on their phone whilst watching a live show. And we began weekly live gigs on our Instagram Live, which are still going strong today. So if you want to have a look on Fridays, there's always good music. However, through all of this, we knew that even if the medium in which we were delivering our programme was changing, our core values had to remain the same. And for us, this boiled down to two main focuses. One was to ensure the health and well-being of our communities and that they wouldn't lose that lifeline of high quality, affordable, engaging cultural provision, and that's for all ages. And the second was to protect the artists we work with, ensure they're given support both in terms of finances, but also a platform to showcase and develop new work, and to just sustain that ecosystem of creatives in our community. So many people were struggling with just having the motivation to make work or to adapt to this new way of showing it. So making sure we were providing that platform was crucial as well. In some ways, this was one of the biggest positives of the last year. And I think it's really important to acknowledge some of the really innovative and exciting and progressive changes the pandemic has brought about. So in response to these two key aims, we reevaluated who we apply to for funds, how we distribute those funds, and how we programme. In August last year, we piloted a brand new digital festival based entirely on a commissioning model where selected artists were given a brief looking out, looking in, looking up, and were each provided with a small amount of funding to produce work in response to that theme. Later in November, we repeated this process, but instead of working with targeted artists, we did an open call out to our community, and that includes people who don't even consider themselves artists. It might just be that they do it as a hobby. We thought we'd receive about 20, maybe 40 applications if we're lucky, and we received over 300 applications, and they really represented the diversity of our community too. Both of these commissions culminated in 2-day-long digital festivals, including BSL interpreted Q&As, and we've gone on to work with several of the artists involved in other ways since those festivals as well. So in each of these examples, not only were we able to support our communities, our artists, and ensure that Popular Union was remaining relevant and visible at a time when a lot of venues in the UK were closed, We were also embracing whole new models and ways of working that have since carried over into our strategy for 2021 to 22, when live events can begin again. And we're just starting now, actually, in this month to do some more outdoor events, which is great. So this new digital strategy also saw our staff really step up to the plate and take on new responsibilities, expanding their own skill sets and roles at Poplar Union. For example, our programming team had to learn digital curation and develop an understanding of what platform suits what type of event best, how to ticket and value digital performances, and what audiences want and need. Similarly, our marketing team had to develop new ways of engaging with audiences, collecting data and evaluating the successes and failures of an event. Even simple things like how you run box offices for a digital show all had to be rethought and reimagined, but has in fact instilled in us a stronger, less risk-averse, more dynamic working culture. And I'm really excited to see that develop over the coming months as we come out of lockdown and begin our events in our building again. I can now share with you the first minute or so of the video recorded a few weeks back explaining more about this digital strategy. And I'd just like to say a huge thank you for your time and for this opportunity to showcase what we do. Thank you very much. I'm Beth Watton, the Artistic Director of Poplar Union, an arts and community centre based in Poplar, East London. Poplar Union was opened in January 2017, and our mission is to unite communities through high quality, affordable arts and cultural provision. For us, this includes live theatre, music, dance and film screenings, health and wellbeing events and classes, and workshops for people of all ages and backgrounds. We also do a huge amount of artist development work, supporting individuals and companies to develop new work, reach new audiences, and showcase their talents. In March 2020, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Poplar Union was forced to close. This closure meant we had to pivot and adapt really quickly and efficiently to ensure we remained in touch with our community and that the 3 years we'd spent growing awareness and building our audiences wasn't lost. This is what
Thank you so much, Beth. That was really great. And I mean, it's always inspiring to hear about how creative hubs have managed to transition almost entirely to supporting their online communities. But I think what struck me the most about your story was how you've managed to keep your core values alive, and especially sort of the health and well-being element, as well as the sort of protection of artists. And that really, I think, aligns with a couple of SDGs that hubs have been found to respond to, namely health and well-being SDG number 3 and SDG number 8 about decent work and economic growth. So that's really great. Thank you, Beth. We're going to move on to our next speaker, Antoine Nguyen, who is Art Director of Heritage Space, which is an independent art organization in Vietnam. Antoine graduated from the Hanoi Fine Arts University with a major in theory and history of arts. He has previously worked as an art researcher at the Hanoi Institute of Art, but also as a program manager and a country director appointee by the Indochina Arts Partnership. Antoine will tell us a bit more about Heritage Space and how they managed hybrid programs for the visual arts during the pandemic. And maybe he'll also give us a preview of his contribution to one of the online courses, namely Ways to Monetize Your Services. Antoine, if you can hear us, if you're here with us, the floor is yours.
Yeah, hello. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to be with you today, and I'd like to say from Hanoi. Then I am Nguyễn Anh Tuấn. You can call me Tuấn, the artistic director of Heritage Space. We are the independent art space and organization based in Hanoi, Vietnam, and we the Heritage Space established in 2014. during the time we act as an independent art space, we locate in the high-rise building for almost 5 years since it was established, and we have the aiming and the purpose in developing the contemporary arts in Vietnam, because it's really lack in the development infrastructure, educational platform for and the exchange for the young new generation of Vietnamese artists to develop themselves and also to learn from the artists around the world and participate in different kind of contemporary arts programs. So, we developed our annual project that we connect and invite the international artists and curator come to Vietnam to exchange with the young, new, emerging artists. Then we run this in 2015 to until this year. We also have, during the time, we also manage the very good facility in Hanoi to compare to different aspects here. We did have the gallery, and the library, which we can work with the lots of not only artists, but also we organize film screening and working with filmmaker, with the musician, and to help them to present the experimental music performance that is very rare in Hanoi until now. Then we have the library to share the book with the young artists and students. All these things continue quite and run quite good until 2019, when we had to move down to the high-rise building, and we at the time when the pandemic come in the beginning of 2020, and we had to restructure our art space and also think about how we can move on. As I told you, we are running the annual art project. That's called MAM Art Parties, that we have the participant of both international and artists and young Vietnamese artists, and we think that we try to find the condition to keep it, but also we have to find a new strategy to not only to sustain our art space, but also to continue in the arts and the culture, and filling the gap between the art community to the society. So during a time we developed, we had made some research, and we develop. We go to the decision that we will develop the online digital platform we call Vietnam Art Archive. It's focused on the building the archive for contemporary art in Vietnam since 13 years ago, since 1990, when it first came to Vietnam. It basically because the reason that we in Vietnam, the contemporary art still, until now, there's no museum, and the universities, the art university have no course or lecture on contemporary arts. But the Vietnamese artists and the community got involved in contemporary art for certain years, and the legacy is quite considerable. So we try to step up and to build the archives. That's not only for the way we are first to keep the history but we consider as a platform for everyone to could access and to fill the gap of the understanding and the knowledge in the arts to the society. Then it's not only the way for us to keep working, but also it's also a way we can when got support from different friends and partners and organizations and foundations, and actually it's run quite success, and we still in the in the process of building the website and working with a lot about it to collect the data, but it received a lot of support and help from the art community and the cultural organization, not in the countries but also in international. And but we not only for the long-term projects that we are keep is a new strategy for us. We still keep the annual art project that, to connect and keep nurturing the young arts community here. That we try to develop and to work with virtual art project that we connect the artists from distance to working with the young local artists here. And we have done the virtual art project last year. It ended in the December that we had the participant of artists from Japan, from Europe like Germany, on Switzerland, and the artists in Vietnam. They work online. There are a lot of Zoom meeting and round discussion, and we have done the field trip also online. And all artists still produce the artwork, and we have exhibition at the end. We learn a lot by not only the way how we manage and overcome the own struggles, the working from distance, but also it's a good lesson for us to face with the pandemic and the lockdown time. That requires confidence. Then we can manage it and to have skill for the next thing. So for the online course, I really happy that it's not only for sharing my story and my strategy of participate, and I think it's not only the nursery, but also it can give some suggestion or reference with all of the member in the course. And we also has the connection with some aspect in Philippines, and we can have we have the share the meeting and give some feedback for them to the new aspects that they are developed in Philippines. And I think it's the course is not only to for the sharing the knowledge, but also the good way to connect to people. And I'm really happy about that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Antoine. It was really great to hear about how you've managed to keep sort of a welcoming space for young artists for, you know, in the contemporary arts, and how you've managed to shift sort of the peer-to-peer connections to happen digitally and facilitate these across countries despite the pandemic. So thank you very much. Thanks both to Antoine and Beth. I am going to hand over to my colleague Lai now for the open forum of conversations. Lai, oh yeah, you're there.
Still here. Thanks, Roxy. Yeah, so we'll have a quick conversation right now with Gina, with Miguel, Beth, and Antoine. So yeah, please join us on our virtual stage again, if you don't mind. Are we all here? Okay, yeah. Hi, welcome back, everyone. Yeah, thank you for all your insights and really sharing very valuable lessons with us, with the global creative community. And I just wanted to ask, because the main trend that happened obviously with COVID-19 was really to move programs to the digital world. And we will probably be doing this even after the pandemic has been declared no longer a pandemic. So I just wanted to ask how you prevent digital fatigue. How can you prevent digital fatigue? Maybe you can share something that you do yourself, or maybe some things that you've observed from your community. Maybe we can start with Gina, since I'm sure you've been digitally fatigued, especially this week.
Yes, I'm probably an expert on digital fatigue, just like everybody here. Like, I can share a lot, but I'd probably start with maybe just this one bit. Everybody has, when there's a new environment, and we are in a new environment, there are usually a change in the way people do things, right? So there are different rituals, different routines, and different workarounds. And it's really not much about working from home. It's really working with home. So for example, I'm here and my 7-year-old is right outside the door, and I had to put Post-its so that he won't come in because there are no boundaries. So at least for our Creative Hub, what we do is we're very mindful of people's individual rituals and individual routines, such that we only have, for example, in this particular project, Miguel set a 1 p.m. every Monday 2-hour session with everybody. And we're not requiring anybody to be on video. We are not requiring anybody to be on full audio all the time, mindful of they might be doing some other things as well. And that's part of the whole respecting each other's rituals. And then the rest of the time, when we don't see each other, we've got a lot of online collaborative tools that every now and then we use so that we can just reach out to each other. And it's at any given time. Sometimes Jean would tell us, hey, I'm heading out to the vet because my dog has food poisoning. Just reach out to me anytime. So it's really that kind of, I guess, respect for everybody's individual realities now and try to make the best out of that situation.
Would anyone like to add to that?
Yeah, I would add that I think digital fatigue was a real concern for us, both from a sort of well-being perspective, but also in terms of engagement and that how that really sort of went up and down in waves of how much time people are willing to spend after certain periods of actually still seeking out activities or events and things online. So one of the things we were finding was using more of our sort of digital marketing and outreach to communicate with people, but by suggesting things that they don't need to do online. So doing things like litter picks or local history walking tours. So it's still making use of the fact that people are, looking online, looking on social media to find activities, but then using those platforms to actually suggest ways of not using those platforms and going outside or doing something in your community. And for us as well, being in East London and in quite a poor area of East London, there was also an issue around digital poverty as well, and the fact that not everyone has got a smartphone or an iPad or a laptop at home. So also finding ways of providing services that were safe during lockdown, but that aren't necessarily reliant on exclusively digital platforms. So like we gave out art packs and cooking recipe cards and things like that. So yeah, just being mindful, from both a well-being perspective, but also in terms of what people actually want to be doing with their time as well.
Yeah. I'll ask one more question and then I'll open the floor for a Q&A before we move on to our walkthrough. It's really interesting, Beth, that you mentioned digital poverty also, because like with the many challenges that artists and creative entrepreneurs that were already being faced before the pandemic, the challenges are in a way even greater now for some. So I guess I wanted to ask if you could give, and we wanted this session to also be a little bit practical in a way and showing support. So I wanted to ask if you could give one advice to an artist or a creative entrepreneur out there or within this room who is probably feeling a little bit hopeless right now and thinking about, maybe pausing their practice or moving on to another profession. What advice would you like to give them? Maybe I'll ask Antoine or Miguel to respond to this. That's okay?
Sure. Antoine, if you don't mind, I'll go.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, please go first.
So my advice for those that are struggling, you're not alone first and foremost. No? So the one thing that we learned when we embarked on this journey with the rest of the team is that a lot of the problems that we experienced as a creative hub ourselves were also resonated by the others all around Southeast Asia and the UK. So the first thing to know is that you're not alone in this journey. And second, my advice for you would be to don't be afraid to fail. Try to do things. Sometimes going online, going digital is not the easiest thing to do, particularly because you're not familiar with all the tools yet. But that last word that I mentioned, yet, is I think the biggest thing you should concentrate on. Don't close yourself if you don't know how to do it. Open yourself up to learning new skills. During the onset of the pandemic, especially here in the Philippines, a lot of people went into upskilling themselves. And even in our industry, where Gino and I would be working with our network in the Makerspace community, a lot of the organizations and hubs that we've worked with in the past, for example, have always had that small and slight resistance to digitizing their content. So now with the pandemic, everybody's forced to go online. Schools had to start conducting their classes remotely. Offices had to do their onboarding for their employees remotely as well. So it's now part of our reality, and really, it's just about being able to adapt. So I can talk on and on about this, but I really like to end it with three main words: learn, unlearn, and relearn.
Antoine?
Yeah. My advice was similar to Miguel, but I like to I prefer to use the words as I call flexible. The artists of the creative hub, like us in Vietnam, we face with a lot of challenges, and I'm sure that everyone has this kind of challenge. But the flexible not only to try to adapt with the situation, but still should have the long-term view, the vision, and in the hardship time, hardship that is also it gives when you are faced that you are on the wall, but you can. It's also the time to give you to rethink about what is your mission, what is your vision, how you can contribute to the art and the community that you still working with. What is your real passion and emotion in your work, and when you really think about it, and you will find a way. And like as I see in my colleagues in Vietnam, like when we see that people cannot use a magazine, cannot go to talk to the conference to share. Some of my colleagues create the radios on a podcast to share about the idea about art critic, and it reached a lot of people. Then I also saw the few weeks ago, one of my very ambitious musicians, instead of making he cannot create a concert to introduce a new song, but he created song live via YouTube and via different kind of platform like Vimeo. Then they reach a lot of audience and viewer and still following him. So I think it's really a good lesson for us to be flexible and adaptable and still keep sticking on what you are, what is your real work and your love.
Yeah, that's really inspiring, Antoine. Thank you for that. So we're getting a couple of questions in the chat, and again, combine some of them. And I wanted to ask you, maybe each one can give just one answer because we're running out of time, if that's fine. 30 seconds, something like that. So I'm combining some questions. Could you tell us about an online tool or program that you find really effective in migrating collaborative creative work to the digital platform? And mix that in with another question: how do you make this technology inclusive to different kinds of audiences? So maybe someone can focus one part of the group can focus on tools, and the other part can focus on making platforms more accessible. Who would like to start?
I can start. one of the biggest tools, because as Gino mentioned earlier, we really ventured into this thing quite with a short timeline. So really the most important tool, online tool that helped us was Google Apps. This would be Google Sheets, Google Docs, and Google Slides. So whenever one of us needed to do something, anybody in the team that was part of that Google application could be shared across all platforms. So they didn't need to install anything. They just needed to be online. They could put in comments and tag other people when things are done. So regardless of the time or if people are awake, you can put in whatever you need, and by the time they get online, they can see the comments and work on it themselves.
I'd like to go next, if that's okay. So, I'm actually going to connect maybe in under 30 seconds an answer to the previous question into this one. Creative hubs can use the time to actually be on, use the time to really think about how this will make their hub evolve. And that involves actually what we used to do in a physical space. We would get together, brainstorm, ideate, exchange ideas, and all of that is gone in a pandemic situation like this, up until you see that there's actually an online collaborative tool like Mural or Miro. In this case, I think we used Miro. And it's essentially such a powerful tool. The advisory hub leaders can attest to this. It's a very powerful tool that everybody can just jump in at any time. You don't have to be all live at the same time, but if you are alive at the same time, it has its own video calls as well. You can see essentially different mouse cursors around the screen with names of people, and you can see exactly what they're doing at any given time. To me, that is a godsend in a situation like this, and I think it would help quite a lot of people.
Yeah, I also love Miro.
Yeah.
Like
Can I
to
go?
30 seconds?
Yeah.
No pressure.
For me, for me, the more efficient tool, I think it's to be flexible, because like I agree with Miguel that I also went with my team. You Google Lab a lot for teamwork. It really help in working with Google Doc or board or presentation that anyone can jump in and contribute in the work. But also for it really depends on the purpose. How do you use it? And for the classroom or for the workshop, I agree that Miro and Zoom for the conference is I think the best effective ways. So I think it really depends on to understand what is your purpose and your audience, and you will find the best effective tool.
Go ahead, Beth.
Yeah, I will be very quick, Stars. It's so simple. Yeah, we for a team we were mainly using Zoom. We were pretty low-fi actually with our technology, and we were finding that was often the most sort of useful and immediate way we could communicate with one another. We also obviously use WhatsApp groups and things like that. But certainly for our group activities and with our audiences, actually WhatsApp was the big surprise thing, because people, generally speaking, everyone could engage with it. So on the point of inclusivity, certainly when you're looking across ages of people as well, it was very useful for engaging with older people and older participants in our workshops. So we found that a really quick and easy way to keep people feeling connected, especially if they were engaging in sort of weekly activities and things like that. So
yeah. I also heard that Facebook Messenger is also being used by many communities who don't have access to internet but have a smartphone, because you actually don't need a internet connection, at least to send text messages, right? So yeah, thank you all so much for all your contributions. And so I think we'll close our panel discussion for now. And we'll move on to the next part of our event, which is, what's the next part of our event? That is the walkthrough, right? Right. And Okay, so I'm supposed to announce the official grand launch of the courses, right? The main part of our event. And so you may notice that, we have a chat box here. And so soon you will be seeing the link actually to the landing page of Creative Communities Learning Lab. And as we mentioned, these courses are free, they are self-led. Of course, most of the content are based on Southeast Asian and UK experiences, but of course this is accessible in across the world. So maybe we can, I wish we had like an applause sound effect, but yeah, let's consider Creative Communities Learning Lab officially launched. I think we're sharing the link here, right? Yes, thank you, Mark. So feel free to explore the beta version, right? Because as with any digital platform, we have to keep refining it based on your feedback. So after each course, actually, you will see a feedback form, and we'd be very happy to hear from you. Let us know how we can keep improving it. Right. So the other thing to note is that we have 2 courses, right, that we're launching today: Digital Community Strategy and Management, and Ways to Monetize Your Services. So I think some of your questions in the chat will be answered by the courses. Bringing Your Training Online will be launched on May 1st, but we will still do a walkthrough today for all the courses. And yeah, so please keep checking back on the webpage and our social media, on the status of the course. Okay, so, we have a poll now, right? This is a very fun question because we're talking about the actual self-paced online courses now. So share with us, do you have difficulty finishing an online course? I think this is also a challenge for me. Clap. Someone is saying clap. Oh, okay. I think that's to celebrate the launch. Okay, but I wanted to follow up on this poll by asking, what advice or tips can you share with us that help you focus and actually finish a self-paced course, online course? What helps you to focus and finish an online course? Feel free to share in the chat. I think a lot of people would really appreciate advice on this. Setting time out of the day to intentionally work on it. Yes. Adding the to-dos in my calendar. I think majority are having a hard time based on the poll, but yes, we'll get there. Compartmentalize time, certificate at the end. Thanks, Julia. Noted. Okay, so I guess the incentive at the end of the course is useful, right? Okay. Okay, so if you go to the link while we're still sharing away on the chat box, please feel free to click on the link that Mark has just shared. So that's the landing page, and register. So you'll need to register to access the course. It's very quick, very simple form. I think it'll take 2 minutes of your time only. And once you register, you'll be able to access the 2 courses for now, and then the 3rd course on Friday, on May 1st, sorry. Okay, great. So also our last request, we hope you can, of course, help us share the project, Creative Communities Learning Lab, with your friends and your network. The only way I think we can keep having and continuing these conversations is to, share this with friends, take the course, and then, share what we've learned, of course. So let's keep the sharing and learning going. All right, so for now, I'll stop there. I'll I'll pass on the mic again back to Roxana, and she will lead us through the walkthrough.
Thanks, Lai, and thanks everyone. So what will happen now is that each course author will host a 15-minute walkthrough of their course. So we're going to break out into rooms, but before we do that, here's some advice on how to navigate the breakout rooms. So you can choose a breakout room according to your preference, and you'll see the titles on the screen very shortly. The main room where we all are right now will be used for the course Ways to Monetize Your Services, and it will be facilitated by Sakina Hunter, founder and editor-in-chief of Edit Her. The first breakout room will be open for the digital community strategy and management, and it will be facilitated by Tuka Toivonen from Creative Friction. And the second breakout room will host the Bringing Your Training Online walkthrough, and it will be facilitated by Miguel Cervantes from Makerspace Manila. You are free to move in between the breakout rooms. So if you plan to leave a breakout room, click the Leave Room button on the bottom right corner of your screen. But make sure you select Leave Breakout Room. Don't select Leave the Meeting because that will drop you off Zoom completely. And once the walkthroughs are over, please return to this main room so that we may finish the event. So for your reference, the course names and the room names are again on your screen. So now you may choose to be assigned to whichever breakout room you want to join. So let's give it a minute for people to join their rooms before the course authors take the floor and start guiding people through the courses.
See you all in a bit and enjoy the walkthrough.
You might be automatically assigned to a room if you don't see the option to choose one. So if you'll be automatically put into a room, if it's not the one that you want to join, select Leave Room and join another room.
Are we doing, sorry, maybe we need to clarify the instructions, right? We're choosing our rooms. We're not automatically being assigned, being sent. Is that correct?
Yes, there should be a pop-up for everyone that the rooms are open. But I'm not sure why the option isn't showing up for everyone.
Okay. Maybe we can, do you think we can send also people randomly if the first option is not working?
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that now. It'll take me a couple minutes.
No
it doesn't
pop-up,
do
they're
it.
saying.
Yeah, I don't know why there's no pop-up.
Okay, just as to be expected, some technical glitches. It's okay. We will shortly automatically assign everyone to a room, and then you may freely move around or move about into different rooms. Yep. So bear with us for a minute until we navigate through this technical specificity.
Okay. All right. I think people are now joining the different breakout rooms. Okay, I'll turn off my camera. I think maybe it's safe to start.
Yeah, let's do that. Sakina, I think you've got the floor here in the main room.
Perfect. Okay, hi guys. So welcome. So I am a co-author of the Ways to Monetize Your Services. So this was a really exciting course I worked on with Justine. I'm super excited about the launch today, and I'm so glad that you're all here, and can't wait to show you through the course and hope that it's as inspiring as it was creating it. So let's start off with what it's all about. So as you know, we are getting a whole collaborative spirit from both Southeast Asia and across the UK. And this is all about how to really monetize your creative services and how to do it in a way that's sustainable. So that's the main focus of this course. It's really how to, all your creative work and all the great things you're doing with your creative community hubs is how to really monetize that and grow and really create different revenue streams for your creative businesses. So it will last approximately 3.5 hours, 3.5 hours. And the target learning and course objectives for the course. So it's about developing confidence in your revenue strategy and finding really practical resolutions around how you can gain funding opportunities and how you can really translate, like we say, all your creative work online. So we've got a table of contents here, and we're going to start off in this course with a brief introduction and get really great insights from around Southeast Asia and people that have really, experienced this right from the beginning, how they've had to grow their creative hubs and how things like the pandemic have maybe, may slow them down and how they have to try and readapt and try and translate that online. So we'll be going through 3 different key stages. So it's, how to translate your work, and then we'll do a play module where you apply all that you have learned and really put that into a way of you translating all of these great things that you're working on and really creating that community spirit with your creative hubs. So it's a brief introduction of how to use Sway. So you can really, you can find all the instructions on how to use that way. And this is the author introduction. So this is myself, and I am the journalist and an editor-in-chief of Edit Her, which is a platform that you'll find out about during the course. And yeah, just a bit about me. I'm a researcher, a PhD business researcher, and my experiences of translating Edit Her online has been a really a long process, and it's taught me a lot, and I hope I can share my inspiration and my experiences with you so that you can grow your own creative communities online as well. And then Justine, who is my co-author, she's super inspiring as well, and she gives a lot of insight throughout this whole development of this course, and we've really gained a lot from each other. So there'll be a lot of development from both of us within this course. So it's just a brief introduction to start off with why learn about monetization and why it's important for you and your business. And it's lots of really insightful talks from experts in the industry. And I think the most key important thing is, as creatives, we have this really great work and we have such a great platform and people are interested in what we do. So it's just really great to make sure that we can monetize that and we can, translate what we've got, all of our creative work, into a really tangible business and something that can really develop and grow. So we start off with some experiences from Southeast Asia. And these are really insightful videos where you'll get taught a lot of, key fundamental advice about how to really hone in on your creative USP, your unique selling point, and how to really develop and grow. And so we start talking off with strategies about how to do this in a confident way, because we know that the pandemic has made some of us maybe lose self-esteem or maybe just not feel like we can do it in the same way we used to. So it's all about adapting and learning how to grow. And we really talk about hybridizing, not just the creative work you're doing, but, revenue streams and putting that all into one kind of big pot and, making it a great business. So there's lots of great videos around that. So you'll learn about confidence building, about grants, about monetization approaches, and choosing the right model for you, because everyone has a different monetization model that will work for their business. So it's taking a really personal approach to monetizing your creative business. And then you'll click onto this module. So this is, for instance, how we start. And then it will take you through developing your strategies and building confidence. So I'll just show you maybe one example so you can just see how to navigate it. And then here we have, how big is your operation? What kind of value do you provide? And I won't take you through the whole course, because the exciting thing is that you'll get to do this all afterwards and get to really, look into all the different sections of the course. But hopefully it's very, very easy to navigate. And like, as you can just see, I'm just literally pressing next, and then you can go into the videos and press play, and it's very, very easy to navigate. So that's very useful. If you just go next, and then as soon as you get to the end of the course, you'll be able to go straight back to the homepage. So grants is another topic that we talk about. So it's really talking about funding opportunities and how to make the most of it. And then confidence building is another key pillar for this course. Like I said, the pandemic and everything has caused us to really have to re-shift and juggle different kinds of elements of creating our businesses. So it's really great to have all these insights from different experts like Carl, who has himself done it and really experienced it and learned how to grow a really great creative business. And then you'll fill in a form at the end, and then as you'll see at the end of the module, you'll be able to close the tab and then proceed to the next chapter. So it's super, super easy to get onto. And I'll just go on to, for example, I'll just go onto the home page. You can see, back to where we were. And then if you look at the conclusion, just to show you how we'll end. So I just wanted to show you this brief slide because it's really key for identifying the right monetization model for you. And the most important thing to take away from this is that you can go back and forth to different slides and really, if there's a particular element that you really want to hone in and really develop, then just literally click on the video and then you can go back. And then as you'll see, as soon as you press play, we've got this really insightful video from Carl. And then there's various different ones as well. And then that's how we navigate. So I'll just go back to the key page here. So that was one module that you saw. And then we'll take it over to you and you can kind of share your experiences of how you found the module. And then as you'll see, we have credits at the end. So you can see, some of where this is coming from, the kind of sources and how we've come to develop the course. And then you've got like a survey here. So what type of device did you use? And this will really help us to understand and get feedback on how you found the course. And when you reach the end of the course, you can go straight to the webpage. So please head over to this webpage, trust all links. And then you're back to the webpage, which tells you all about the product, all the projects and everything that came to, everything that we used to develop the whole course. So that is it in a nutshell. But as you'll see, there's loads of different sections for the course. So I'll just go straight back to the top just to remind you. And then you'll see that at the beginning, it tells you exactly the table of contents. So the first one was, which I took you through, so that identifying the right monetization model for you. And then we go on to monetization approaches. So if you see the first chapter, strategies around confidently monetizing your hybrid model. The second chapter would be translating your creative work and services online. And this is where we have deciding the most effective model for you, how to sustain community spirit and intellectual property rights and so forth. And I myself feature on the first and the second one of this particular chapter. And then, so it's feedback as well. So we'll really be helpful to get some feedback from you guys. But I hope you was able to understand that and that was inspiring and you know how to navigate the course. And if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box. But that's that's me taking you through the course in 15 minutes, I think that's the time. So really grateful to have you guys on this course, and it really is an inspiring
Hello, did we lose Sakina? Oh, I think she got disconnected.
Yes, I think, yeah, she dropped out of the room, Miss Lai.
Yeah, but just in time when she ended her presentation.
Right.
Yeah, she finished right before she was disconnected. So I guess that's lucky. Okay, so what we'll do maybe is while we're waiting for her to come back, Henry, maybe you can just help me out. Shall we do some questions, Q&A? There might be some questions I might not readily answer, but yeah, I think we'll open the floor for some questions from the floor, from the audience.
Hi guys, sorry, I don't know what happened. I dropped out, but I'm back in the room.
Welcome back. I've just been taking over, Sakina.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
I'd suggested that maybe you know, people can ask questions about the course.
Yes, please. Well, we welcome any questions. I'm happy to answer anything you have as well. So. Check if you want to write them in the chat as well, feel free to, and I can just read them out as well if you want.
Yeah, I think people are also being assigned still to the different breakout rooms.
Yes.
Okay, I have a question for you, Sakina. How did you, there we have a question, but maybe I'll ask first. How did you go about selecting the subject matter experts you wanted to work with? How did you decide who to select?
I think it was more about looking at their personal experiences and going on to, we first started off by going on to like LinkedIn. So really professional platforms like that and seeing the kind of experiences that people have themselves done. And the most important thing was to get people that have really developed creative businesses themselves, and they can really show you the ropes and really inspire you because they've been there and they've done it as well. And a lot of the time I found when I was searching for people is that some people had developed businesses straight after the pandemic. So they had like a really great, you know, authority in terms of showing you how you can turn something really, really quite, you know, hard to deal with and really translate that into a great platform. So I think it was just being very selective to choose people, not only ones that have just been progressing steadily, but people that have had to go through troubles and have had to really overcome that as well. So it's getting that balance because it is difficult and it's not a straight road. So I think that was the most important thing.
Who are the subject matter experts we can expect to meet through the course?
So we've got a range of different people, some people from the team ourselves, so some people that we've actually been working with on the project, which is really exciting. And then we've got, so obviously Tuka himself, he's obviously speaking to what he's done and his great efforts with Creative Friction. And Justine has selected some phenomenal people as well. And we hear from myself on the creating a community spirit with Edit Her as well. So that's all about how to really monetize your creative spirit. But I think the great thing about our speakers is that they come from very different backgrounds, and it's not just people from Southeast Asia and it's not just people from the UK, it's a blend. And that's the most important thing, hearing it from different cultures and people that have maybe had struggles with internet access and things like that. So it's people that have gone through struggles and had to kind of overcome them.
We have a question. Will there be a learning community platform or a way to interact with other learners? I think we can both try to answer this both, but maybe through your course, what are the ways that we can kind of interact outside?
So is this with, so this is with learners specifically, not speakers, right? Am I getting that?
Will there be a learning community platform or a way to interact with other learners? Actually,
yeah, you go. So yeah, we was talking, do you want to go ahead and just talk about the...
Yeah, because I feel in not necessarily for just Sakina's course, some of the courses actually try to ways that people can connect in other platforms. So, you know, like I think in course one, which is on digital's strategy and management. You know, there's a task there that encourages learners to go on Twitter and, you know, try to find other learners there. So there are ways that the courses kind of prompt interaction outside the course. Right now, there's no formal network or no formal platform, but hopefully, learners will kind of go through the tasks and connect even after the courses.
Yeah. And just to add to that as well, the fact that we have got these hashtags, it's really good if you want to keep the conversation going to always hashtag the ones that we've put in the module, because then you can really create this great community afterwards and hear from your peers and hear how they found the course, and really, you know, you can even come to collaborate with them later on. So it's a really great, useful tool to use the hashtags and make the most of that.
Yeah, I think we're using hashtags, so you'll find out when you take the course.
Mm-hmm.
So, question, will you be around to guide the online learners, Sakina?
Will I be around to guide them?
You'll be around to guide the online learners, like what you did today.
Yeah, well, I've put in my in the course, I've actually put like my handle as well. So if you do want to get in touch with me, please feel free, and I can, you know, help you with things, because I think this is a great community and I do want to keep it going. It's really great to have that kind of international rapport with all of you. So please feel free if you want to just message me or send me a message, and I'll get back to you when I can and help you with any aspects of the course, or if you want any more insights. So yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think also just to add, the courses are self-paced or self-led. So you learn them at your own pace. But yeah, for today, Sakina is here to guide us how you can possibly navigate the course.
Mm-hmm. Which can't hear my country. I look at my
resume. Thank you so much for sharing in this wonderful online. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have news from the other breakout rooms? Is everyone back?
Yeah, I believe Tuka's back. So.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean we ended up just noticing that the time was up and didn't have enough time for discussion necessarily. We did get to hear from Ola, who is one of the contributors to the course on digital community strategy. So I think we had a good session, but I wish we had a bit more time. We had some interactions in the beginning, but yeah, we didn't quite have enough time for discussion.
I think fortunately the courses will be here to stay, so people can of course take the course and discover them at their own time. Okay, so right, well, welcome back to you all. We're running a little bit behind, but yeah, I hope that you found the course introductions really useful. So yeah, we're now at the end of our event. It's been truly exciting and it's been very inspiring and encouraging to hear from everyone. Actually, Julia Kim Davis, our Southeast Asian Regional Arts Director, couldn't make it today, but she sends her warmest congratulations. She was supposed to do our closing remarks, but we have one more poll, I see. I think that's just to ask if you have registered yet for the course. Yeah, have you registered yet for the course? Please register. You can, of course, finish the courses at your own time, but if you register now, you will have access to them and you can keep the links as reference. Okay, and I just wanted to thank everyone, actually, our producing team, Tuka, Justine, Gina, Miguel, who have been leading their different teams from Creative Friction and Makerspace Manila, our British Council team. Henry has been very hard at work in this project. Thank you so much, Henry. Roxana, our head of arts, my counterparts in the different countries, and our arts managers. Caroline, I'm not sure if you're still here, but thank you for joining us. I think Pilar is also here. Hi, Pilar. Kathleen, Daniel, I think I sent you a message. So thank you also. The project began with you. So here it is. And of course, our comms teams in the region and globally who have been really supporting us, promoting the project, led by Kevin and Mary Ann. So can I just, of course, we have to have our quick photo shoot. Can I just ask everyone to turn on your cameras? Of course, our 17 hub leaders, we've been referring to them all this time. Aden, Antoine, Dan, I think Dan had to say goodbye. Hafsho, Helmi, Hu Tien, Jare, Jen, Jerome, John Paul, Kenny, Comgrit, Kritia, Magu, Zoe. We've been referring to our 17 hub leaders all throughout the event. So those are their names. If you'd like to know more about them, please go also to the webpage. So please turn on your cameras if that's okay with you. If you feel comfortable doing that, we'll just do a very quick photo op. Hi, everyone. Good to see your faces. Okay. All right. That's all right. Yeah, just feel free to turn on your camera if you feel comfortable with it. But yeah. Okay, so I think that's good. Oh yeah, people are still turning on their cameras now. I think our comms team is also helping us do some screenshots. Hi, all right. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, great. Yeah, I think, well, we're done with the poll. We have some reminders. All right, so I mean, thank you very much for coming. As we mentioned, the courses are launched. You can access them online, take the courses at your own pace, at your own time. And it's been a real pleasure meeting you all. And we hope you can share with us your feedback so we can continue improving and refining them. I'll hand over now the stage to Roxy for some final reminders.
As always, I can never seem to find my mute button. Okay, so final reminders. If you haven't yet already followed us, please do so on social media channels. Feel free to reshare news about these courses. All the handles are on the screen. You should have received them as well with the joining instructions. And please, yes, register for the courses. It's really important to hear your feedback. We're, as everyone before me has said, we're still kind of experimenting with this. We're trying to improve as well. And we want to see if it answers to your needs and if we can build something bigger and better in the future. I think that's more or less it from us. We're not going to drag it any longer. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you to our speakers, to our participants, to our colleagues, to producers, to Creative Hubs, and everyone. And I wish you all a wonderful afternoon or evening, depending on where you're based. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.